G'day, this is Pete, back with another episode of Casa James, and today we're going to have breakfast here at Casa James, and I'm going to show you what we eat, and we're going to have a chat about that, like what kind of food do we eat here in the Philippines, because it is a bit of an adjustment, but you'll see not too much of an adjustment, especially today on a Sunday, having a big English breakfast, Filipino style though. So Arian's been slaving away in the kitchen. She's got the baby there. Actually, to be fair, I did help her. I was helping her with the cooking. I actually cooked the sausages and bacon. She cooked the eggs and some veggies to come. So let's start with the English pork sausages. So these are well and truly English because they're from Tesco's. They come in a blue Tesco's bag, and we buy them from Barretto. So I bought like 2 bags just yesterday, and we get just the bacon from the local supermarket here. Need my coffee this morning. It's been a rough morning, and I'll speak about that shortly. Arian's cooking, she's got the baby. So some garlic and some mushrooms, aren't you, babe? It's good. Little Pete, he's been crying and screaming at me all morning. Actually, I was trying to do a live stream, but between him screaming, the neighbor, you know, developing and constructing, I hate how they do it on a Sunday, that just irks me. The neighbor sweeping next door and trying to have a chat. And then I finally got some peace and quiet, and a taco tried to attack me. So yeah, I just pulled out this seat because I went to vlog. I wasn't actually going to move the chair, but I wanted a different view. And lucky I did, because mate, he could have crawled up behind me and bit me behind the ear. Look at that. What a beautiful creature though. Finally got some peace and quiet, got my coffee. Let's talk about what we eat here in the Philippines. Now look, eating out is reasonably priced. It's pretty, fairly priced. But what we found is, after living here and trying to live a modest lifestyle, especially now that we have our baby boy Pete, we're trying more and more to cook at home, because especially where we live on the base in Subic Freeport, it can be a bit expensive to eat out. Now, to American or British standards, no, it's still really, really cheap. But the problem I found is the quality. Like if I want a good English breakfast, now there used to be 1 or 2 places, but now it's near impossible to find a decent English breakfast where I can honestly say, I'm happy and satisfied. You can find, and a good example here in Subic Bay, a good place, like a good American breakfast that's, it's okay, it's not great. It's like got a few sausages, average sausages, some bacon and some toast, and it's cheap, maybe only 150 or 180 peso, depending where you go. One good place is the Jewel restaurant in Barretto, which is run by a foreigner and a Filipina, and we quite like that place. Actually, we were down there for lunch yesterday. Some places like in the Freeport, we found, you might have to spend 1,500 peso upwards, which is $30 on a decent meal. For example, like Texas Joe's, if you want a decent steak, it could cost as much as, $30 just for one steak, right? So, things like steak, we're not eating Wagyu steak here, it's not happening. Having said that, we do eat steak, but we don't buy steak from the local supermarket like Pure Gold. We used to, but it's very expensive. Actually, a friend of ours who used to be a butcher, he put us on to the local market. He's saying you have to go early to the local market in Olongapo, and that's what we do. We go down to the market and we get a lot of steak, and it's actually very well priced. It's actually a lot more affordable to buy here than it is in Australia when it comes to steak. It's not the best quality, but it's all right. And actually he showed us how to like tenderize it and cut it properly and, you know, have it age a little bit. So, you know, when we cook it, it is nice and soft and tender, which is really good. Whereas, you know, when we used to buy overpriced steak, and it was, you know, more expensive than what I'm used to in Australia. And we buy this steak from the supermarket and then we cook it and we wouldn't tenderize it. And yeah, it wasn't great. Like, it'd be chewy, it'd be tough, there'd be a lot of fat. The other way to get good meat, but it's not cheap, online there's some stores like expats or foreigners have opened like kind of like an online store where they will deliver to you, but the meat's expensive. Like, it could be, if you want lamb, you know, 1,500 to 2,000 peso for a kilo of lamb cutlets, and then they deliver it. So there's a price to that, and it does get expensive. You know, if you want comfort food, you know, from back home. I know I love my lamb cutlets, and I can't go without. Honestly, my favorite food of all time is this, what you've seen today, is an English breakfast. Actually, that is my favorite food ever. Like, I can't live without an English breakfast. So obviously my partner Arian, she's a Filipina. She loves Filipino food and she loves rice. For me now, I can't eat rice. Actually, I used to have hash browns and toast with my English breakfast, but I don't do that anymore because I'm not eating the carbs. So, you know, minus potatoes or minus the hash brown or toast, I don't have that. Arian loves her rice, and, you know, she loves Filipino food. So often she does cook Filipino food, and I've just had to learn that, you know, not every night am I going to eat Western food. Having said that though, like roast pork, actually Arian does like a Filipino version of roast pork. What is it called, honey? Your roast pork? Lechon. She does a lechon, and it is mean, man. She cooked me one actually just a week ago, and it was really, really good. Very good, very, you know, tender, nice and soft, and it had that crunchy crackling. So that was really tasty, very nice. I really like that lechon. It's not the same to what, you know, we're used to in Australia. You don't get the same sauces and stuff, but you have to try new things and be a bit adventurous when it comes to food. I know I've got some mates, and all they'll eat is Pizza Hut, McDonald's, and maybe a steak or two. And look, if you're like that, you're going to struggle in the Philippines, and it's not going to be healthy. You know, yes, you can buy all that. We've got Pizza Hut and Shakey's and McDonald's and all the junk food in the world. But honestly, it's just not good for you, and you're better off cooking. You're better off buying produce and cooking. Yes, there are some restaurants here, but it's not the same to back home. So if you want, you know, comfort food, you know, from back home, you better learn to cook, and you better learn how to buy the produce cheaply. Talking about Filipino food, actually I have adjusted. Tinola soup is really nice. Another good example is Bicol Express. I love my Bicol Express, and I like it hot. I like it with some chilies. Some chilies are definitely good. So Arian does make a mean Bicol Express. So it can be made as beef or pork. I miss Arian's mum at the moment because Arian's mum cooks a very good Bicol Express, which is made from pork. It's a pork express. It tastes a bit more sweet and flavoursome. She's looking at me now. But I do miss Arian's mum at the moment because you know, we're in lockdown and we haven't seen her family in months. What do I miss? I miss two things. The first thing I miss actually is Thai food. So I definitely miss good quality Thai food. And surprisingly, even though we're close to Thailand, you know, in Australia you can get some really good Thai food. In Thailand you get excellent Thai food. Of course, it's authentic, but I haven't found anything here that is authentic. It's always kind of like a fusion of Filipino food and Thai food, whether it be Subic Bay, Manila. I've found absolutely nothing. Also, that, you know, there's not really many Thais that actually live here. Okay, so unfortunately, it's very hard to get, you know, that green curry or you know, the pad Thai that you're craving. So that's a bit of a shame. And we have tried to cook it ourselves, but not being Thai, it is a lot harder to cook and get it, you know, the way you want it to taste. So That's a bit of a downside. Another thing too is just, you know, certain things like, yes, they do have meat pies here. Like I miss some Aussie foods. And yes, they have meat pies and you can buy meat pies here, but it just doesn't taste the same. It's very, very different. Like the meat is bland. It's very average. It's not great. Actually, in Australia, I'd have a Wagyu beef pie or a beef mince and mushroom pie or a curry beef pie. And they taste awesome, so I miss my pies a lot. Here, actually, I don't order the beef pies locally because the beef pies, honestly, they're just very so-so and they don't taste great. However, I did find a good alternative locally in Barreto where actually I eat the chicken pot pie. I haven't been eating many of them now because I'm on this keto diet and I'm trying not to eat carbs. But I do like a good pie and that is a good alternative. But interesting that they can make pies with chicken and they make it well, curry chicken and chicken pot pie included, but the beef pies just didn't taste so good. So anyway, that's some feedback on living and eating here in the Philippines. What do you usually eat?
Usually, every breakfast I eat rice and...
Rice?
Yeah. Rice and some meats, like I eat sausage with rice, bacon with rice.
But bacon you prefer. She prefers ham and bacon.
I prefer veggies.
You prefer veggies, but I always see you eat the bacon with rice.
Actually,
she eats little bits of bacon, cuts it up and eats it with rice.
I prefer eating the leftover food from the dinner, eating it as my breakfast the next day.
The next day?
Yeah, that's why I...
So what we've got here, we're going to enjoy our breakfast. I've got my sriracha from Thailand, my chili sauce. We've got some mushrooms, some eggs. We've got some pork sausage, some bacon, and Arian's got some mango for dessert.
That's for the baby.
Oh, that's for Pete. He's eating that, little Pete. And he's also got this one. What's this one? You've got the Cerelac.
Yeah, this one is baby food. This is what keeps him busy while I'm doing something.
Yeah, but yeah, you got to keep him entertained. It's a lot of hard
sometimes
work.
I have to cook and no, I can't bring him there.
Yep.
While you're cooking or doing stuff, so I keep him busy with that, and then he eats. Like if we're eating veggies, I get some veggies from our food and give it to him.
Yeah, so he doesn't eat a lot though, but you know, the bigger he gets, the more the food bill's gonna get. All right, so thanks for watching. This has been Pete,
Arian
from Custer James, and Little Pete.
Little Pete.
Bye for now. He loves mangoes. I didn't know that till today.
Actually, he likes bitter melon.
Oh, I think he likes you the most. He loves milk. That's his favorite.
He loves bitter melon and squash. That's his squash.
Yeah, I've seen him eat bitter melon too. Yeah.